All right. Padres win game 4 of the series. They leave with a split. Philadelphia on the weekend, and then we get to the All-Star break next week. Morahone, Estrada, Adam, Suarez, the four horsemen of the bullpen. Huge in tonight's win. Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. both homering for the first time in like forever. I know it's not the first time that they've homered together in the same game this year, but it's felt like it's been forever since they both homered in the same game together. Padres pick up a much needed win after last night's debacle. Welcome to the wrap-up show. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button. We'll get to all your super chats tonight. All your super chats are greatly appreciated. Me and John, thank you so much for all your support of the show. And I'll try to get to as many comments as I can throughout the night. But overall, just, another ho-hum one-run win for the Padres tonight. They win 4-3. And like I said on Tuesday, this is who they are. This is who they are. They are a team that's going to scratch and claw offensively, have a lights out bullpen, and that's how they win games. They're not going to blow teams out. They're not going to win, games 5-1 majority of the time. They're going to win close games like tonight, 4-3, 4-2, 5-4, maybe not 5-4 because they don't score 5 runs, but you get my point. Is this team what you saw tonight and what you saw on Tuesday night, the 2 wins in this series the Padres had? All right, they won 1-0. They won 4-3. Like, this is who they are until proven otherwise, until they can somehow offensively put up more runs on the board. This is the team that you're going to see going forward when they win games. More often than not, this is how they're going to have to win games. It's going to be stressful. It's going to be torture. It's not going to be fun. Likely won't be pretty, right? They're going to leave a lot of men on. They're going to have, nights where they don't know how to hit with runners in scoring position. That's who the Padres are. And then they're going to have a lights out bullpen with the 4 horsemen in the back. And then they're going to get the job done, and that's how they win. That's the formula right now for the San Diego Padres. The only concern is, like, with the guys in the back of your bullpen, you hope you don't wear them out by the middle of August or at least the end of August, because if a majority of your wins for the rest of the year looks like tonight, you're gonna have a burnout of this bullpen. But as of right now, this is how the Padres are gonna have to win baseball games until they figure something out with this offense. That's just how this is gonna look. Prepare for torture. Prepare for you wanting to pull your hair out. Prepare for you cussing at your television because this team can't hit with runners in scoring position. That's a typical Padres game right now. With, some moments sprinkled in between. There was some signs of life, middle of tonight's game offensively with Manny and Tatis. Tatis looks really good. Gavin Sheets having a great night. This is who they are. So we'll get into all of it tonight. I see your guys' chats in the comment section. I see some supers rolling in. We'll get to all your supers throughout the rest of the night. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's get this thing to at least 8,100 tonight. We are on our way to 10K. We hopefully are going to get there by the end of or the middle of next month. And we can only do it with your help. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we're on our way to 8,100 tonight. It's so funny because, Mike Schill, I've seen this recently go around the 4 horsemen thing. And I was like, that's interesting. Where'd that come from? And I know I said it back in May because I asked James, and thanks to James for pulling it up. I was like, I know I said that in May. I know I called them the Four Horsemen. And then they immediately, as a bullpen, just like shit the bed for the next like week. And I was like, I'm not saying anything. I'm not doing that. I'm not dubbing a nickname, a catchphrase. Like, I'm not doing that. Right. But now it's legitimate. Now we're too far into the season for that to not be said. Like, will they have hiccups? Will, Robert Suarez blow another save? Will Jason Adam and Jeremiah Estrada and Adrian Morejon give up runs this year? Like, yeah, they will. But as of right now, they are locked and loaded as the best 4 back-end bullpen pieces in baseball. It is the absolute strength of this team. We've been trying to decipher what the team's identity today, or what the identity of this team is for the last, couple of weeks or whatever. And, that's who they are. That's their identity. The identity of this team is the back end of this bullpen, the Four Horsemen. Should I trademark that since I said it first? Should I trademark it? I know everyone's going to say, oh, it's Schulte. That's fine. But that's the identity. The identity of this team is the Four Horsemen, led offensively by Manny Machado. Fernando Tatis Jr. is heating up here and, scratching and clawing offensively to pick up a win. So, going forward, trade deadline, I ain't moving anybody in that bullpen. Nope. I'm not moving anybody in that bullpen. They are the strength of this team. They are the best part of this team. And when you have a strength like that, where you shrink the game to, 5 innings, you get the lead after 5 innings, you go to the Four Horsemen, boom, game over. And if they can just scratch across a little bit of offense, and they can improve this offense a little bit, might be cooking. If the back end of your bullpen is going to look that good on a night in and night out basis, then, you have to see this thing through. You got to see the thing through. And you got to make moves to try to improve this team, and you got to buy at the deadline. I know we talked about Dylan Cease last night and trading him, and there's been talk of trading a bullpen piece to upgrade parts of this team that need upgrading. Nope. I am not touching anybody in that back end of the bullpen. I am not touching anyone with the Four Horsemen. I am not touching Estrada. I am not touching Morejon, Adam, Suarez. Nope. Why would you take away from a strength of your team to try to improve another part of your team, but then the strength of your team that you just subtracted from isn't then the strength of your team anymore? It's just a really good piece, but with now a missing piece to it. I'm keeping the back 4 of that bullpen intact, ready to go for the entirety of the season. They are just that good. They are an absolute weapon with this team. The only problem is, they're going to be stressed out of their mind for the rest of the year, it seems like. And it's only July 10th. If it was September 10th and they were still looking like this, and there's no signs of fatigue, and you look at the outings for those 4 guys, and they're relatively low, not like, oh man, they're pushing all career highs here, I feel much better. I am a little worried because it is July 10th that, like, are they gonna burn these guys out? And that's the one thing that you hope that doesn't happen. Because if these guys get burned out and they regress and they aren't as dominant as they are right now, and the Padres offense continues to be the way that they are, then that's going to be a problem. You can't continue this way if the bullpen falters, because then you're relying on the offense needing to pick up the slack. And I'm sorry, I just don't have that much faith that the offense is going to just turn it around and score 5.5 runs a game. I said this on the radio today on John and Jim. I did a little math, guys. I know. I did a little math. And the Padres for the rest of the year, okay, they got 71 games remaining in the season. Or 70 games or 72. It's around 70 games, all right? I believe 71. To equal last year's run total as a team. Last year's team was good offensively. They were one of the better teams in baseball offensively. They were a top 10 offense, no doubt about it. There wasn't a moment last year in the second half, especially, and moments in the first half as well. It wasn't just, all second half where this team's offense just shot off like a rocket. There were moments in the first half as well where they would trail in games by, 3, 4, 5 runs, and they would come back. 69 games. Nice. Okay, 69 games remaining. This offense, I don't feel that way with, I don't feel like if they go down 5 runs or 4 runs, like this thing's over. They got to keep this thing close. They can't come back from big deficits. But anyway, back to the point. In the remaining 69 games this year, all right, to get to the run total that this team had last year, they would need to average as a team over 5.5 runs per game for the rest of the season just to get to last year's run total as a team. I don't think they're scoring 5.5 runs per game for the rest of the year. And if they did, then they would go on the exact type of run that last year's team went on, because this bullpen is that good. Any lead that this Padres team would have in the second half, 5, it just, they wouldn't be working with 1-run games all the time. They'd be working with 3-run leads, 4-run leads. And when they score 4 or more runs, they are nearly, they're nearly impossible to beat. But the problem is it's really hard for them to score 4 or more runs, is my point. So, yeah, they get it done, and bullpen looks fantastic once again. And now we see what they do this weekend against the Philadelphia Phillies, against 3 starting pitchers that, if you look at their numbers, which I know you guys saw them on the broadcast tonight, yeah, that's going to be a tough ask for this offense this weekend, especially with how they're playing. All right, let's get to some super chats. I see them rolling in right now. Appreciate you guys. If you guys want to get your comment read, 100%, send in a super chat. I'll read your comment live on the show tonight, and I'll try to get to some other comments throughout the rest of the night as well. Let's get to the first one of the night. E-Racing with Dale. Thanks for the super, buddy. Appreciate it, man. Says, love to see Toddy and Nando. You mean Toddy and Nando, the same person? You mean Manny? Toddy and Manny? Both go deep. I'm assuming that's what he meant. Yeah. I think, and let me look this up real quick. Because I did see the stat of the last time that they homered in the same game. And that was on June 23rd. So the last time that Tatis and Manny homered in the same game was June 23rd. And it looks like that is that's the last time they did it and the only other time they did it. So they've only done it twice this year together from the looks of it, which is kind of crazy. I was like, whoa. But yeah, Tatis should have had 2 home runs tonight. That was an incredible grab. I mean, it's like home run rob city. That doesn't sound right. It's like robbing. How should I say? How should I phrase it? It's like home runs that get hit to center field this week at Petco Park are getting robbed left and right because Tatis should have had Tatis should have had a 2 home run game tonight against the DBacks. And if Tatis gets hot here, whew, that could be huge. But I'm hesitant to say those things because I've said those things before and then a bunch of nothing. So I would think I need at least a week of Tatis, having like 3 or 4 home runs. Like, can you have a stretch of like 2 weeks where you have like 5 home runs? I know it's asking a lot, but at the same time, he's capable of doing it. We've seen him go on a hot stretch before. Can he, come out the break and finish off the first half this year and, that 10-game road trip out of the break? And can he just be red hot, please? That'd be cool. Chucky D, thanks to the super buddy. Appreciate it. Said, just scored 10 runs against the 28th WAR staff. And now we get the number 1 WAR staff, but I love winning. It's like better than losing. You're absolutely right. When you score more points than the other team, that's always fun. And in baseball, they call it points, not runs. Kidding. Yeah, put that on a shirt. Luke, thanks to the super chat, buddy. Appreciate it. Says, I want a job like Trenton Brooks has. He shows up, gets nothing done ever, brings everyone down, and never gets reprimanded. Life goals. Well, yeah. I mean, also you should throw in there that he gets paid more money than either of us right now for their jobs. Unless you make a lot of money, Luke. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Trenton Brooks, man, the silver magic bullet or whatever Schilt called it. I don't think he's had a hit since Mike Schilt said that about him. I really don't. He's got that 1 home run at Dodger Stadium. And I said the other night, growing up a Padres fan like he did, hitting a home run, your first ever home run in the big leagues is against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Dude, that's a moment that he'll never forget, ever. But it is the big leagues and it's a business, and he is not a major league player. So my guess is he does not make it past the trade deadline. If AJ Preller is actually serious about making this team better, Trent Brooks is not a guy that remains on this team. Hold on. I forgot to tweet about the show. Give me like 2 seconds. Tatis, and Padres. See, on radio, I couldn't do this because like if there's dead air on radio, taking you behind the scenes here, if there's dead air on radio, there's like a master alarm that goes off and like the entire building freaks the fuck out. So like I can be quiet on YouTube. Let me just finish this tweet real quick. Hold on. Padres split with DBacks. Way join us now. Almost done, guys. Stay with me. Stay with me. Almost done. It's just the thing when you don't have like a partner with you. You can't just like do this while the other person talks. And being in radio, this feels like very awkward for me because I'm so used to having to like constantly talk without any dead air. But we'll get this done right now. All right, let's do this. Okay. We're done. Let's get back to some super chats here. Andrew, thanks for the super chat. Really appreciate it. It says, Arise is so strange. 4K has zero idea of, has zero idea of the strike zone, but puts bat on anything. Takes a strike every time unless Tatis has a great jump on first, then swings. Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you a little bit there, Andrew. I trust Luis Arise at the plate. It's hard to not trust a guy that's a 3-time batting champion. By the way, a back-to-back-to-back batting champion with 3 different teams. Yeah, he doesn't walk ever, but he also doesn't strike out ever. Like, his superpower is something that really nobody else in baseball can do, which is hit for a high average and never strike out. You know, for his standards this year, he's not up to his standards offensively this season. There's no doubt about it. But as of last couple of weeks, if you just look at his numbers, he's been fantastic. Now, he did not have a good game tonight. He went 0 for 5. He's hitting 285 on the year. Okay. But over his last 15 games, he's hitting 317. Over the last week, he's hitting 357. So he has been much better for this team. I think the whole, he'll swing at anything, that's just what he is. He'll never walk. But he'll always put bat on ball, and that's his superpower. So I know he went 0 for 5 tonight, but I'm not gonna go after Luis Arise. Hendrick, thanks for the super chat. 1-run wins until this team finds bench options. I'm ready for Campy to get a real shot after the break. Maldonado is a negative for this team. I would agree with that. Maldonado has been a negative for this team. He threw someone out tonight, so that was nice. But overall, he's kind of useless on this team. I would much rather have Luis Campusano at the big leagues right now as this team's catcher 4 out of 6 games a week, and just see what you got, because can't do much worse than what you got right now. The Schultz said at postgame, and one thing with this team that they still have struggle with is, adding on. They had multiple opportunities to add on to put this game out of reach and not have to go to Robert Suarez again and Jason Adam, the 4 horsemen of the bullpen. Like, you had an opportunity to just kind of blow this game wide open. And once again, you don't do it. They go 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. You had the bases loaded. You pinch hit Trent Brooks again for Martin Maldonado, and he grounds out. Jake strikes out in a big spot with only 1 out in that situation. And they left on 13 guys. So a win's a win. Don't get me wrong. You take those and you say thank you and you walk away. But still, in this win, there are still problems with this team. It's not like everything was fixed tonight, because, Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado both hit home runs for the first time together since June 23rd. They went 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. They left 13 men on. That can't happen. All right. That moment in the 7th inning when Brooks pinch hit from Maldonado and they left the bases loaded, Jake Cronenworth struck out, then Trent Brooks grounded out. That was a moment in the game. If the Padres lost, that would be the first thing I would have talked about tonight in the wrap-up show. That moment right there. Because that can't keep happening. And it's happening at a too high of a clip with this team right now, where they are unable to add on. And it's going to come back and bite them in the ass. It just will. If this team were to make the postseason, okay, and the same situation happens, it will bite them in the ass in the postseason. There's no doubt about it. It's not a random Thursday in July, okay? It will be a postseason game, most likely on the road. And if they lead 4-3 in the 7th inning with the bases loaded and 1 out and they don't score there, it will come back to bite them in the ass. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that it will. Because when you're on the road in a postseason game, you have an opportunity to add on, you have to add on. And right now, this team can't add on. And it's a problem. You know, the win's great tonight. Don't get me wrong. The first thing I talked about was the bullpen. The back four have been the MVPs of this team. I mean, if this team were to give out an MVP, they have to split it into 4 because the MVPs of this team have been Morejon, Estrada, Adam, and Suarez. Manny's had a great season so far, but the back end of that bullpen is the real MVPs of this team. They're the strength. Let's get to another super chat here. Dylan, thanks for your super, buddy. Appreciate it. So no RBI hits with runners in scoring position, and only 1 run versus their bad bullpen in a 4-game series. Of course we split. Just don't get swept versus Philly and 500 homestand. Yeah, if you win a game over the weekend, then you guarantee yourself at worst a 5-5 homestand, which if you asked me before the homestand start, would you take 5-5 homestand? I would have told you no, they need to do better than that. I said at minimum 6-4 because then you go into the break 8 games above 500, and 8 games above 500 feels pretty good. You know, there's a lot of problems with this team, but the record is the record. And, you know, being 8 games over 500 for all their offensive deficiencies and all their problems that they've had offensively and guys struggling and guys underperforming and the bench they have and Martin Maldonado and Elias Diaz behind the plate to be 8 games over 500. Oh, by the way, Dylan Cease having an awful season to be 8 games above. Oh, and by the way, Michael King hurt and Yu Darvish making only 1 start for you this year so far. To be 8 games over 500 would be kind of, it'd feel almost like a miracle. Like, what? Everything I just said, I could just show you the numbers, how they've been one of the worst offensive teams in baseball since their hot start. Jackson Merrill does not know how to hit a baseball anymore. Let me take that back. He doesn't know how to hit a baseball. He just can't get a hit to save his life. Did have 3 walks tonight, which I'm sure Schulte loved, but still another offer for Jackson Merrill. His average is all the way down to 262 with a 722 OPS. You know, with all their problems they had, if they could find a way to take this series against Philadelphia, and it's not going to be easy because have you seen the Phillies starting pitching? That's a problem. And you go to the break 8 games over 500, dude, that would be kind of incredible, in my opinion, for all, you know, that's happened in the first half this year. So just taking 1 game against the Phillies, you go 5-5. It's not the end of the world. You'd be what, 51-45. So you're 6 games above 500 heading in the break. It's what you were like 2 weeks ago. This team's basically a 500 team right now. And that 6 game above 500 thing is kind of just keeping them above water, keeping them afloat here. So yeah, you got to win at least 1 game over the weekend. Taking 2 against this pitching staff against the Phillies might be difficult. But they haven't lost back-to-back games in a while. Let's see here. If I'm looking back at their schedule, going back to June 27th, they started that 6-game road trip. All right. They went loss, win. Well, I had those two. They have lost 2 in a row on that road trip. Yeah. Loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. It is crazy. It's crazy what this team is doing, how they're keeping their head above water, and they're just like so incredibly frustrating to watch at times. I want to thank Mark Nimitz, our title sponsor of the wrap-up show. If you have any insurance needs, if you have homeowners insurance needs, if you have car insurance, auto insurance needs. Mark Nimitz is your man. He's been with us on the wrap-up show since the very beginning when we had like nobody watching us. So Mark Nimitz, a huge Padres fan. He is the GOAT. If you have any insurance needs, go to Mark Nimitz. He's helped John out with homeowners insurance for his house. So if you need insurance, Mark is your man. mnimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the wrap-up show sent you. All right. All right, guys, the floor is yours. Wait, I got one more super here. We get to Chucky D. Yeah, but when you slug, it covers a lot of problems. I agree. You know, this team does not slug at all. And that's a problem. But, you know, they're going to have to figure out different ways to score runs. They're not going to be hitting 3-run homers consistently. They're not going to be hitting, 2-run homers. They hit a lot of solo home runs, right? They don't hit grand slams. They haven't had a grand slam this year. They've been awful with the bases loaded this season. I think to expect this team to all of a sudden start hitting a bunch of home runs here come August, I don't think so, guys. I really don't. I mean, I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love all of a sudden Jackson Merrill hit 10 home runs in August, and Fernando Tatis Jr. had hit 10 home runs in August, and Manny Machado had hit 10 home runs in August, right? Like Gavin Sheets hit 10 home runs in August. I would love to see that, but like I've been saying, at some point, you are who you are, and you have to adapt, and then just, all right, this is how we're going to win ball games right now. This is how we're going to do this. And hopefully the stuff that we want to happen comes, but we can't be pressing all the time if it doesn't work that way. We have to figure out how to win ball games any way necessary. And the ways that we won ball games last year is not the ways we're going to win ball games this year. So you have to adapt. And right now, the way you win ball games with this team is you scratch and claw offensively. You get lights out performances from your bullpen, and you hope you have the lead after the 5th inning and your bullpen is ready to go and guys aren't down. Because if guys are down, then it might be an adventure. But if guys are healthy, or if guys are, rested and ready to go, and you have a rested Estrada and a rested Morahone and a rested Adam and a rested Suarez, get the lead after the 5th inning, go to your bullpen, go to your 4 horsemen, and more often than not, right now, this team's going to win those ball games. All right, so let's see here. Miss Do It All. Does anyone think Cease is going to get traded? I don't think he's going to get traded. I don't see that happening. I mentioned it the other night, and I mentioned it on John and Jim. Like, it wouldn't do you any harm as an organization to like maybe throw his name out there. I mean, shit, you already shopped him in the offseason, so you kind of already laid the groundwork for a Dylan Cease trade. It's not like, you haven't talked to anybody about potentially trading Dylan Cease. But yeah, do I think he's going to get traded? I don't. Do I think it's a good idea to trade him? I think you could make a case for why it wouldn't like cripple this team if you traded him, and why you can overcome a loss of Dylan Cease. But that's only predicated on Yu Darvish looks like Yu Darvish. Nick Pivetta continues to pitch the way he's pitching, and you get Michael King back ASAP, and he looks really good. And then Kolek and Vasquez, continue pitching the way that they're pitching. But at the same time, if this team makes the postseason, you would like to have that 4-starter. I just have no trust. I just have no faith in Dylan Cease. Like, I just don't. If this team's lucky enough to get to the postseason and Dylan Cease is out there, yeah, I just have I just don't have any faith. And I agree. He is durable. He gives you innings. He's going to post. He's going to give you 30 plus starts. He's going to pitch around 170, 180 innings. Like, it's frustrating to watch because he's just not good this year. But yeah, I mean, they're caught in between a rock and a hard place, because on one hand, he's going to walk without you getting anything back in return for him, a la Blake Snell, Josh Hader. but you're also trying to compete and win. So it's a difficult spot, man. It's a difficult spot. Thanks, Chano. I think that's how you say your name. Chano Palomo. Chano Palomo? Chano Palomo. I'm going to go with Chano Palamo. How about that? If I'm saying your name wrong, I apologize, but I'm just going to go with Chano Palomo or Palamo. I'll go with Palomo. Crazy how many future Hall of Fame Padres have had. Wait, hold on. Crazy how many future Hall of Fames Padres have had last 5 years. If Manny reaches 1,500 RBIs, but not 3K hits or 450 home runs, still a Hall of Famer? I say yes. 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 He is on pace to be a Hall of Famer. No doubt about it. He doesn't need to get 3,000 hits. He doesn't need to get 450 home runs. Doesn't need any of that. He just needs to be consistent and post like he has been posting. The numbers will be what the numbers will be. I don't think you need to chase some magical number to get to the Hall of Fame. You know, it used to be like, oh, if you hit 500 home runs, you're a automatic Hall of Famer. You know, 3,000 hits, automatic Hall of Famer. I don't think that's the case anymore. I don't think people are, you know, obviously 3,000 hits, 3,000 strikeouts, 500 home runs. Like those are all, you know, 300 wins, even though I don't think we'll ever see a 300 win pitcher ever in our lifetimes ever again. But like those are like milestones for players that if they reach those milestones, they're a shoe-in to be in the Hall of Fame. Like once Adrian Beltre got his 3,000 hit, yeah, everyone was celebrating because he got his 3,000 hit, but he's also celebrating because he knows I just made the Hall of Fame. He would have made it either way, even if he did get 3,000 hits, but like that is a benchmark that if you hit as a position player, you are a Hall of Famer. And if he gets, let's just say he gets 2,850, right? He has 2,850 hits. He has 447 home runs lifetime, right? He makes 2 or 3 more All-Star games. Preferably, you'd like to see him make 5 or 6 more All-Star games, but let's just give him 3 more All-Star appearances. Then he's a 10-time All-Star. He's a multiple Gold Glove winner. He's a Platinum Glove winner. He has 2,800 hits. He's got almost 450 home runs. That's a Hall of Famer. 100%. All right, guys, the floor is yours. Whatever you guys want to talk about, shoot it. Shoot my way. Whatever you guys want to talk about. Just a reminder, no show tomorrow night. I will be gone. John's also gone. So no show tonight. Or sorry, tomorrow. My brain's fried. No show tomorrow night. We're back on Sunday night. And then we'll be back on the radio on Monday at 2 p.m. Let's get to KP here. Thanks, KP. Appreciate it. We've done nothing to lose. Oh, sorry. We've got nothing to lose and everything to gain by letting Campusano take the reins for a stretch. Maldonado and Diaz aren't that impressive on defense. You can take out the word that. They aren't impressive on defense. You can just say Maldonado and Diaz aren't impressive on defense. Even though Maldonado did throw out a runner tonight, to his credit. But then Diaz sailed one into center field late in the game. I was like, shit. I agree. It's way past time for them to just say, you know what, we got nothing to lose here. I mean, he's not going to do any worse. And if the whole argument is Maldonado and Diaz are so great handling this pitching staff, then why has Dylan Cease pitched the way he's pitched this year? I don't get it. So, yeah, you got nothing to lose. Couple more supers here, and I see your guys' comments rolling in. I'll get to some comments as well. Where are you at productions? Thanks, buddy. Appreciate for the super. Says, what's your thoughts on trading for a guy like Byron Buxton? What would you give up, and does that fix our problems? I would trade for Byron Buxton tomorrow. Problem is, the Twins might think that they're in, a postseason race this year, and they're not trading Byron Buxton. I would, they're 45 and 48. The Twins are. They are 4 games back of a wild card spot. Yeah. Again, I would love Byron Buxton, but the thing is, why would the Twins trade him? And he would cost a lot. He would cost you a lot to give up, at least. I mean, you'd probably have to give up Salas. They would probably want to talk about DeVries. He'd be great, but I just don't see that happening. Robert, thanks for the super chat. He says, how responsible is our hitting coach for our hitting woes? Honestly, I would put very little blame on Victor Rodriguez. Very little. The reason why. He was the hitting coach last year for the team. Was he not? He was. The team last year was one of the best teams in baseball offensively. Their approach at the plate, their ability to come back in games that they trailed in consistently. They never felt like they were out of it offensively. Yes, they went 24 consecutive scoreless innings to end their season, but that's more on the players than the hitting coach. I'm telling you guys, if your first thought when a team, or not a team, but just because sometimes the hitting coach needs to be fired, but if your first thought with this Padres team right now is let me blame the hitting coach, Victor Rodriguez, your anger is going to the wrong place. Your anger needs to go to the lineup. It needs to go to Jackson Merrill and Xander Bogaerts and Maldonado and Diaz. By the way, you could be the best hitting coach in the history of baseball. You're not fixing this bench problem and Maldonado and Diaz. You could be, I don't even know like who the best hitting coach of all time is, if there even is one regarded to be one, but you could have the greatest hitting coach in the history of baseball on this staff, whoever that is. They ain't fixing Diaz, Maldonado, Trenton Brooks, Bryce Johnson, Jose Iglesias, Jackson Merrill right now, Xander Bogaerts, like Jake Cronenworth. They're not doing that. And by the way, if you're going to be a person that wants to blame Victor Rodriguez for the offensive problems this year, well, then how is Gavin Sheets having a career year? When you think that Victor Rodriguez would get some credit for Gavin Sheets having, a career year, right? What about with Manny? Manny's an all-star. He's putting up a great, a really good, I wouldn't say great. He's putting up a really good offensive season so far. Are you going to give Victor Rodriguez any credit there? So again, I understand the first thing people want to do when the team's offense is shit is blame the hitting coach, but how can you blame the hitting coach that last year was the hitting coach for a team that had a top 10 offense in the sport? Like, did he just forget how to coach? No. The players are underperforming. That's kind of what it is. And then the pieces that AJ Preller gave to Mike Schilt for his bench and his backstop, nobody can help because they all stink. They all are quad A players. They're not major league players. And Martin Maldonado should retire. He's not a big leaguer anymore. He had a nice career, won a World Series. It's time to retire, bud. Like, sorry. Let's see here. Got one more super here. Where you at productions? Thanks for the super. Appreciate it. What's your thoughts on trading? Oh, wait, no, you already sent me that. Did I? Dude, I'm blanking. Sorry. Okay, I'll get to some comments here. Let me just scroll up. Let's see what we got here. Ryan, thanks for the comment, buddy. He says, what are some realistic trades you guys think Preller might do? Realistic? I think you can look at a guy like Adolis Garcia. I mentioned his name. He hit a home run tonight for the Rangers. He was just in town here. Guy like Taylor Ward from the Angels. Talked about him a lot this season. Jaron Duran is a guy that the Padres have been linked to. And, if AJ Preller wants to get crazy and go for a splash and, know that he's not under contract after next season and he just wants to go F it, he gets the okay from John Seiler to go for it, then that's another guy. Luis Robert Jr. is another guy that the Padres have been linked to. But my guess is there's a couple players out there that we haven't even heard of linked to the Padres yet that AJ Preller is looking at. That's my guess too, because did anybody think that Tanner Scott was an option last year for the Padres? Did anybody say, oh yeah, Jason Adams, a guy they should go and get? At the deadline, it kind of was a little surprising. Like, whoa, okay, didn't even know that they were going after those two guys. I saw, yeah, Trout's a Hall of Famer. He's a lock. Yeah, Campisano caught Cease's no hitter, and by the way, he caught over 150 innings of Dylan Cease last year to a 3.5 ERA. I think a little under a 3.4 ERA last year as Campisano as his catcher, and this year he's got a 4.8, almost a 5, almost a full run and a half difference. Let's see here. Let's get to some more comments. Will Manny get 3,000 hits? I think it's gonna be close. I can't say for sure, but yeah, JD's third says he's gonna get 5,000 hits. Let's see here. Oh, thank you, I don't even know. El Dudarano. El Duderino. Oh, I'm an idiot. El Duderino. The dude. What's up, man? Ronald, Jim, what you think? Again, Cease, Salish, Cash for Murphy, and a random prospect for Azuna and Murphy. Yeah, I like MLB The Show too. We do that in MLB The Show. Thank you for the question, but at the same time, like, why would the Braves, they're having an awful season, why would they trade for 2 months of Dylan Cease? They're not going anywhere. Why would they need Dylan Cease? They'd want prospects. I like Sean Murphy. The question with Sean Murphy is like, how would you make it fit? What would he cost? And it would cost you a lot. He's owed $15 million next year. You probably have to pay him like 6 or 7-ish for the remainder of this season. He's going to cost you some prospects. I know Anthopoulos recently just said he doesn't want to trade any of the core of the team because they believe that they can compete in 2026. Is Sean Murphy a core player of the Braves? I think Ozuna you could go and get. But again, like if you're not trading Salas or DeVries, I don't know if they have that much in the system to get the players that they would like love to have. But I appreciate you chiming in. Travis Jankowski just got DFA'd. I saw that. Look, hey, probably better than Trenton Brooks, to be honest with you, and Bryce Johnson. If I'm gonna have a guy that sucks, I might as well have a guy that's like a vet on the team, or a vet in bigs. Hendrick, thanks for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate it. Says hitting coaches are the scapegoat for teams. 300 wins is dead to arm injuries. I agree with that. And shorter starts with these specialized bullpens. I agree with that. Yeah, the hitting coach is always the scapegoat when teams offensively suck. Always the scapegoat. 300 wins will never happen again. Unfortunately, we'll never see that. Taylor Ward would be a good addition. Maybe the Angels think that they're in it or something, but I mean, I feel like he's been on the trade block ever since the Padres played the Angels earlier this year. I just don't know if they're going to trade him. So, JD's third, thanks for the super buddy, says, would you package DeVries to unload Xander's contract once and for all to increase our window for another few years? Worth it? Does AJ do it? Let me answer that for you, JD. No. No, he doesn't. Xander's played better of late. Yeah, it's like a pipe dream. Like in the long run, when this team's not competing, potentially in 4 or 5 years, when all their players are, older and who knows who's on this team, right? Yeah, then you're probably saying like, I'll do anything to get rid of Xander's contract. And frankly, I would do a lot to get rid of Xander's contract right now. But DeVries is the future of this team at short. You would trade the future of this team at shortstop and your current shortstop just to get out underneath that contract because it's awful. It wouldn't extend and increase the team's window because the window is DeVries. I agree. Rich, I agree with you, Rich. He says Xander's bad, but he's not that bad. He's bad. Don't get me wrong. He's been better of late. I mean, he has reached like he's just above sucking, and he's like right below being above average. So that would be average, right? You don't fully suck. You still kind of suck, but you're also not really great. You're just like right there. You're just an average player at best for $26 million a year. And you play a premium position on the diamond. And you can't hit any home runs. You have no power. You don't drive in any runs. You have no production. You're going to drive in like 48 runs this year. Will Xander ever drive in more than 75 runs with the Padres? That's my question. Will Xander ever drive in 75 runs or more in a Padres uniform? His high is 58 2 years ago. And that was, by all accounts, by everybody that, glazes this team, that was an amazing year from Xander. I don't know. Don't know. All right, guys. Let's get to SeatGeek here. SeatGeek, a official sponsor of the wrap-up show. If you want to go to a Padres game this weekend, make sure you go to SeatGeek right now. It's MLB's official ticket marketplace. You can go on their website to type in San Diego Padres, go to the Phillies game this weekend, and it's going to show you a map of all the available tickets and the seats that the tickets have. And the great thing is, each ticket has a scaling system from 1 to 10. Obviously, 1 means bad, 10 means good, and they also have it color coded. So, green means good and red means bad. And if you go to SeatGeek right now, all you got to do is use our promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, for $20 off your first SeatGeek order of $50 or more. If you want to go to a Padres game this weekend, right now, you can get in $45, including fees. Both of those seats, that's like $90 right there, a little over $90. Use our promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, get $20 off your first order at SeatGeek. If you've already ordered from SeatGeek, fortunately, code won't apply. But if you're ordering for the first time, use our promo code PADSWRAP and enjoy the game on the wrap-up show. All right, a couple more minutes, guys, and then we are outie. Yeah, anything else you guys want to talk about tonight? Because I'm kind of spent. I think we've covered most of it. I think we've covered all of it. I think we've covered most of it. So with that being said, let's get to Underdog Fantasy right now. If you want to play and win big, download Underdog Fantasy right now. Use our promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. You can win up to 1,000 times your money. All you got to do is pick higher or lower on 2 players from 2 different teams right now. Higher or lower on things like strikeouts and home runs and hits. It's very simple. Right now, you can do it. You can win up to $1,000 times your money. All you got to do is download the Underdog Fantasy app and use our promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Start playing and winning right now. Okay. That's going to do it, guys. That is going to do it. Padres win tonight, 4-3. Good win. The 4 horsemen come through. Manny and Tatis both homer tonight. All in all, good night. Still kind of frustrating because the offense was, annoying to watch at times, and they couldn't score with runners in scoring position again to save their life. But you know what? A win's a win. And with that being said, we're going out on a win because we will be back on Sunday night. Tomorrow, I'm off. John's off. Saturday, we never have shows on Saturday. So we will talk to you guys on Sunday night. We'll be both back together. No more solo shows. The band is back on Sunday. John will be here. I will be here Sunday night. Hopefully, we're talking about a series win against the Phillies this weekend. We'll be wrapping up the first half, and we'll take a look at the All-Star break. So until then, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button. We're trying to get to 9K. We're trying to get to 10K as soon as possible. So we need your help. Like button, subscribe button. The like button helps this video in the algorithm, but the subscribe button will help us reach 10,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Until Sunday night, guys. Peace.